You did. You were like, you went
I
like
know
that.
you shocked me. I was
Stop right there.
caught off. Now I know what to expect.
Yeah.
I know what
I'm
to
not doing it
expect.
again.
No.
I'll be hyperactive. I'm going to run back and talk to Sarah.
Well, we had a chance to talk over the last few days, and you were telling me some stories about your early days with Pfizer, and I thought it was interesting from a marketing perspective because I believe at the time it was just shortly after Viagra had come out,
Yep.
and I think that men were a little bit hesitant to show that they were interested in it, although
Yep.
they may have been. But you and your group came up with a way to kind of sidestep that at NASCAR events. So I was hoping you could share kind of how that came about and how you were actually able to kind of get in there and get people to find out about your product, Viagra, and get interested in it without seeming like they were showing too much interest.
Right. So I think Pfizer is a great company, a great place to learn so many different things. Started off at Park Davis, but then Pfizer bought us, and Lipitor was doing okay. So they said let's take these guys over. But on the Viagra marketing side, what was really interesting was just like you said, there were two main issues. One was the cost, and two was the embarrassment, or at least the trepidatiousness. I mean, do I really want to go ask my doctor about this? Do I talk about this word erectile dysfunction? That doesn't sound too good. So, obviously Bob Dole came out and he did the best he could for a while, walking with Elizabeth on the beach. But one of the things we realized is people just still were nervous about asking their doctor, bringing the topic up, and really how to break through the fact of erectile dysfunction.
Yeah.
So one of the things we talked about, and I grew up in the Midwest, in western Kansas, and a lot of my family was NASCAR fans, and a lot of men go to these things. I mean, hundreds of thousands, go to these events. So Pfizer created this thing called the Cardiovascular Awareness Tent. So basically the goal was to really educate patients, and ironically, their wives or girlfriends were the ones pulling them along because they knew it was at the last stop. But we talked to them about diabetes, which we had products for. Talked to them about hypertension, which we had products for. Talked to them about cholesterol, which we had products for. And at the very end, there was trained physicians, many of them there, that would talk to them about potentially what all three of those things do to your lower genital region.
Yeah.
And they would leave with some samples of a certain product that starts with a V. So it was really a great way for us to, number one, I think we provided a really good service to patients about their overall cardiovascular health, and at the same time, sales rose.
Yeah.
To say the least.
They were up and to the right.
Yeah, exactly. But it really, I think that's one of the things that as an industry, pharmaceuticals, we don't do a very good job of really touting some of the accomplishments we have in health. Yes, we're a business. There's no question about it. That business thrives with R&D. I mean, not thrives. The business thrives. We then can put more money into R&D and bring new medications to the world. But and we do bring it to the world on the U.S. shoulders. But we do a great job in pharmaceuticals, I think, of helping educate patients and physicians and making sure they get the right products.
Yeah.
So one thing I always say is I never want a patient that doesn't need my product to take my product, ever. I don't want them to pay for it. I don't want them to take it. Only patients that really need it, whatever therapeutic area. And I've been in over a dozen different therapeutic areas over my career.
The other interesting thing that you were sharing with me is just how you started the company and, some of the details. I mean, it's very hard to originate a company, kind of overcome that inertia and find a product, find a solution, put a team together and all that. Maybe just spend a couple of minutes telling us how you did it and some of the key things that you did to get to where you are now.
Sure. I mean, the story is it's kind of a fun one. So when I was in my first professional marketing job, launching a product, it was at Novartis. So we were launching 3 different ADHD products. And since I'm a doctor of pharmacy and working with some of the top psychiatrists and neurologists and developmental pediatricians in the world, they would, from a marketing perspective, I'm the marketer guy in that job. We would talk. We would come together because they knew at least I had a medical background. And the result of that was building some of the longest lifelong friendships that I've had in my life. So Dr. Raul Silva, who is a child psychiatrist and adult psychiatrist.
Okay, he's one of the
co-founders of the company.
Right. That's
he
right.
built the NYU Child Study Center on First Avenue there. And Dr. Matt Brahms, who's from Houston, Texas, one of the top psychiatrists in the world. We just became great friends. And fast forward, I'm working at Sanofi now. I'm out of the ADHD space. And we're at Raul's house for a July 4th barbecue. And there's some other psychs there, and we're all just having a good time. It may have been the perfect mixture of Coors Light and barbecue, But I'm sitting there kind of just chilling out, having a good time, and I'm listening to Matt, Raul, and some of the other folks talk about, we've had these great products in ADHD, but we don't solve a darn thing. We still need booster doses. We're still getting all these terrible side effects, the crash, the rebound. And again, the perfect mixture of those two substances. I go, guys, why don't we solve this problem instead of complaining about it? And that was in July 4th, 2012.
Oh, wow.
And that's when Cingulate was born. And the name Cingulate, by the way, comes from the area of the brain in your prefrontal cortex, which is called the cingulate gyrus. And then the anterior cingulate, right in the middle, that's where all your executive functions controlled. So that's how I named the company. But that's where Cingulate was born.
I meant to actually going to ask you that too, so you answered that question. That's good. And then I guess, the next stage after that is to come up or find the proper the proper way to put the drug together so it's delivered, which is the precision time release technology. How did you find that?
We didn't. We developed it.
Okay.
And we did it with a great company. Let me talk to you about that. So our initial plan was this drug should have been out 4 years ago, but there was no technology to solve the problems. You need to deliver three specific doses at 3 specific times, in 3 specific ratios, and in 3 specific styles of release. That technology did not exist. We looked, trust me, I would have loved to license it, put the drug in, boom, let's get the product to market. We created the precision time release platform, and we didn't do it alone. There's a great company with Carol Thompson and Howard Stevenson. They built a company called BDD Pharma out of Glasgow, and they built this erosion barrier called Oralogic, which we've licensed now. We have the global rights to it. That erosion barrier layer gave us the ability, in combination with our very specific proprietary technology, it's a compression technology, to build this 3 dosage tablet, enrobe various layers, and then in one small tablet about the size of your pinky nail.
You don't have a sample, do you?
I do actually, yeah. We'll show it in the next segment. That's probably not very good, but that's Tom, maybe can pull it out. But it's about the size of your pinky nail.
Okay.
This small tablet then delivers 3 specifically timed doses in a specific ratio and a specific release style. Pulse, sustained release pulse. That technology has never been seen in the world before. We're using it in ADHD. Anxiety is next. Insomnia will come after that. Hypertension, cardiovascular disease, oral oncology agents,
a huge number
movement
of
disorders. So many applications. That's what's really exciting about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, great. Well, Shane, thanks again for joining us here on Unboxing Biotech and talking about Cingulate and all the great things you're working on. And good luck in the upcoming application to the FDA. And
looking forward to it.
And just one final question: when could patients expect to see this drug out there? I think you said submission mid-2025. Does that mean before the end of 2026 you could possibly have this in the market?
On the conservative time frame, exactly.
Okay.
We're hoping to get it out sooner.
All right, great. Thanks, Shane.
Thanks, John.
All right.